Hello everybody, this is Ali from the Myxxxx. Let's talk. Today we have a guest, no guest, I'm sorry. We have our panel and we're going to be talking about the autistic life and their parents and the institutionalized way of living. Unfortunately, we have to wear our masks because of the social distancing, and we're not too much social distance, so we are actually covering our faces up so we can talk. So we have Myxxxx J. Woods, we have Pamela Robinson, and we have Carol A. Gordon, and we are going to be talking about autistic and autism. So I'm going to start with Myxxxx because I was surprised that she has great knowledge in the schooling system of this, I would say what?
In the field of developmental disabilities.
Okay,
Yes.
So we're going to start with you.
I teach in the Forum of Special Education. I teach children, but more so I teach independent life skills to adults with developmental disabilities.
Okay.
And it's very interesting, and they range. I teach people who are on the spectrum of autism and people who have different developmental disabilities.
Okay. I had the opportunity to work in some of the houses out here on Long Island and dealing with the behaviors and as such, and the ones that can't talk seem like they have more behaviors. Carol, I mean, you experienced with this also, so can you give us some brief?
With people who could not talk?
People that's autistic or
Autistic, my
autism.
grandson is autistic.
Okay.
They didn't find out till he's almost like the 5th grade.
Okay. Did he
And-
speak or?
He was just a short attention span. He did speak, but he was just in his own world. It was mostly like a short attention span.
Okay.
So you had to keep him on track, keep him focused. On another spectrum, my son was dyslexic, and we didn't realize that until he was like in the 10th grade. His process was in how he read. He couldn't read, so
Okay.
the words would be totally backwards, reversed.
Okay.
So,
Presumably they're smart, so.
Yeah, he was very smart. He was smart enough to have everybody else read for him.
And their IQ. And their IQ.
Yeah, that's how you got to 10th grade, you know?
That happens a lot.
Yes.
Pamela Robinson, what do you know about the autistic or autism?
Well, I have a cousin that has special needs, so I do know about that. So what happens, and he couldn't really talk or anything. So he's the type that he needs a diaper and stuff like that. He's in a wheelchair, and he was born like that. So everyone pitches in to help him, take time. And we also have someone that comes to the house, because when he was born like that, they starts off like when they were 5 years old or whatever, and the person comes to the house from the government, and they started teaching him different stuff, like schools and whatever, and he has a little thing that's inside his wheelchair.
Okay, Mecca, being that you're dealing with the schooling, and do you have, what do they call it, ambulette?
It's so the term for someone who walks is somebody who's ambulatory. Someone
Ambulatory,
who
right.
does not walk they are non-ambulatory. So that means people who are in wheelchairs or who use walkers, they tend to be non-ambulatory.
Right.
And when you're referring to somebody who is autistic, you don't say that they are autistic. You say that they are on the spectrum.
Okay.
Because we have to remember that although they do suffer from a mental illness or a developmental disability, they're a person first.
That's
Correct.
right.
So you always have to remember that they're a person. So don't ever say, oh, he's a special needs person. No,
Yeah,
he's a
but-
person first
Right.
with special needs.
Correct.
Don't ever
Right.
say the child is autistic.
Right.
No,
But in
she's
the
a
days,
child who
but
suffers
back
from.
in the days, they didn't have the terminologies that we have today.
They didn't.
So they called them witches. They used to chain them up in hospitals,
Yep.
in
Willow
basements.
Brook.
They used to do things that was uncalled for because they had no knowledge,
Yeah.
and they thought that they was bewitched or
Yep.
they had demons and things of that nature. And
Yeah.
so when I had the opportunity to work at one of the group homes, well, they call it a group home because it was plus group home. And what happened was we had to watch this tape, and it was from Willowbrook.
Yeah,
And
it's hard.
you know, you seen the autistic people that were down in the basement and they were chained up and they were beaten and they were and
It was-
unfortunately they were also raped.
Yeah, it was 70.
So how much-
It was 70 patients to one staff.
Right.
So all day, your 8-hour shift, you had to watch 70 people. You had to feed them, change them, wash
That's
them,
right.
clothe them, and
deal-
educate them
and deal
because
with
they
their-
were
yeah,
the
deal with
nurses
their
were.
behaviors, right? And deal
Yeah,
with
some
their
of them was
behaviors.
kept doped up.
Yeah, they kept a lot of
They're
them.
still
doped up.
now. They're still now. They're on medication now. You have the barbiturates and you have different other medications that
Psychotropic
AMAP,
meds.
AMAP
and-
certified,
Yeah.
you know, administered. Carol, in your case with your son, I know you had gave me some information with him. Do you share do you care to share it with the people or?
Yes, I can share it. Well, my son, like I said, he got up to the 10th grade, but what he did, he masked his disability by fighting in school all the time.
Mm.
So every time you turned around, he was in a fight in school.
Okay.
I mean, but he was fighting for people who was getting beat up, whatnot. He was like almost like the superhero, you know.
Right.
People came and got him to beat up other people, and it finally came to the draw where they he had a fight with somebody. They kicked him out of school. I didn't know my rights as a parent or anything like that, even though I was in the PTA and everything else like that. Nobody tells you everything. You have to find out a lot of stuff for yourself. And this lady's, who I knew, son was dyslexic, and she got me in touch with a therapist. She tested him and come to find out his thought process when he read was completely reversed.
Yeah.
So it looked like English to us, but it could be the word
Well,
the,
you read
T-H-E, but it was
backwards.
backwards, T-H-E.
Yeah.
Right, so he could put it up in the mirror and probably read it very
Yeah.
well,
But he was very smart.
he was very smart. Like I said, he
Yeah.
mastered by having my other two kids who were A students reading his work. He said, I can do this model card, if you read the instructions for me, I can do it real fast. But he already had the ability to do it, but I guess it was just masking it that way.
Or, you know, they, in that case, I think when they're teaching, they want them to be taught the way, you know, they want to teach them. And
Yeah.
not realizing that they're like 10 steps ahead. So they had no real education on.
No.
So in the 80s and in the 90s, the special education system was really messed up.
Yes.
So many people ended up in special education
Yes.
because of behavioral problems.
Right.
And then a lot of them were in
Right.
special education with behavioral problems. They had learning disabilities
Abilities, and that's what happened
that
to
were
my
never
son.
diagnosed.
Right.
In our communities as Black people, it is imperative
Right.
that if you see something with your child that may not be right, they just, you know, if they're 2 years old and still not talking, or
Yes.
they don't want to walk, or they're not as social, just go simply get them checked out. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your child.
That's correct.
Because in our community, they automatically assume there's something wrong. No, it doesn't mean there's something wrong. They just might learn differently.
And that's what my son did. He walked, he did everything perfect, but he was fighting all the time. And I said to him, why are you always fighting? He said, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right, correct.
So that's when something, I guess, when they came to ask him a question to do something, he would end up stepping on somebody or doing
Yeah.
something, and then he'd just get kicked out of the class.
I experienced that a lot.
You got to remember that disability doesn't only deal with behavior. Sometimes a child can't
Right.
hear,
Right.
and the parent don't know until she actually gets him checked out. So
Right.
he's,
That's true.
he acts out,
Right.
or it could be being retarded, and the parents don't know because they're not really looking for a retardation. So he acts out.
Yeah,
You know,
they-
so there's so many disabilities that we have that we need to understand. As parents, we need to focus on our kids at birth and let them, know that they're growing in the right direction. I have a kid at the school at age 9, and he's still in Pampers. And the parent is like saying, well, he's going to grow out of it. Let him grow out of it by himself.
They're in denial.
Y'all just deal with it.
They're in denial.
Well,
And
a lot of
but-
parents suffer from
Correct.
denial.
Yeah.
This is
And
a
guilt.
doctor, she's a
Right,
doctor,
and guilt, too.
and he's a lawyer. So you figure in the education span that they have, it should be a little bit more.
But you have to remember, it's guilt. You know, parents feel that parental guilt when you give birth to this child,
Okay.
and they're not maneuvering or developing the way everyone else is, and you know it might be something you did, it might not be. You automatically feel that guilt or that pain where it's like, I want my child to be okay, so I'm just gonna act as if they're okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but
right.
you
Even
got
when they're
some,
not.
you got some that feel ashamed. They don't want to tell anybody because
Yeah.
they're ashamed of what's going on in their house and their kid is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody's going to say something wrong to them, or something, you was on something, or
Yeah.
you did something, you know what I'm saying?
So they always
so they
feel
keep
that-
their mouth closed.
Yeah, they feel that way,
Right.
and and it's the child is the one who
Yeah,
suffers.
because even in
Right.
in the homes, like the I call them group homes, but they're not group homes. They're actually autistic and residential homes that house developmental disabled adults and some children. They have schooling for them, you
Right.
know, which they still, but throughout the whole course of all the schooling and trying to teach them, they still medicate them to keep them soothed and keep them calm so they won't act out or have any behaviors. And therefore, even other things also to keep their mind from racing, or they might have pressure on their bones and different things of that nature. So when I dealt with the population, it was a lot. But I also understood that, you know, they know when you don't like them. They know
Oh,
that
yes,
you're
right.
abusing them.
Right.
They know that you're not paying attention to them.
Right.
So in my case, and the way I am, I always gave them 100% of me. And I also protected them from others that didn't have that 100% or 50%.
Yep.
So therefore it became a thing wherein it was like, what do you do, you know, because now you're dealing with the administrator
Right.
and plus you're
Everybody.
dealing with the people. So what do? You know, in your case, you work in a school,
Yeah.
and I'm quite sure you see more than enough of abuse, more than enough of yelling and screaming and
You know what's so that's the one thing I love about the school that I work at.
okay.
We do not go for that. Like initially, even on the interview, when I came in the interview, they're like, if you do not come in with a positive attitude for
Then you
this
have to go.
interview,
Right.
don't come in. And
I
they
think
are
all schools have to be like that.
adamant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We do not, the employee morale at our school amongst the teachers, as I told you earlier, we're doing like a pumpkin contest. We're still doing virtual teaching,
Wow.
but we're doing
Yeah.
pumpkin contest, who's doing the costume contest, and we're all virtual right now. But it's all about the employee morale amongst the teachers.
Which is
Because
good.
we know if we keep our spirits up,
Yeah,
Then
then their spirits are gonna
That's
stay
right.
up.
They're
They wanna
insane.
participate,
Right,
they wanna
exactly,
do
right.
more.
Yeah.
It's about what you give in
Yeah.
order to get back.
Another
It's like
thing-
karma.
Treat them
Yeah.
like
You
they're
give out good
people.
karma, it always comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, I have a kid at my school. She has elephantitis,
Oh.
and you know they say that it comes from India. It happens so often. So one of the ladies at the school, she's an aide. She said it's called. She thinks it derives from ducks because their hands are connected
webbed
like
feet,
a duck,
the-
and they have webbed feet like a duck. So they're thinking that being that country that they raise ducks and they eat the ducks like, you know, part half raw or whatever, that it could come from that, which I don't
Yeah,
get it.
there's a
I
lot
don't-
of myths
it-
about where stuff comes from.
That's
Yes.
myths.
You know,
And you eat chicken, don't you? You
Well, I
don't
eat
eat
chicken.
Exactly.
I do
You got
eat
people that
chicken.
eat
I eat chicken, but I ain't got a claw.
My son loves
But
chicken.
you gotta remember that
Now,
the
you gonna
chicken,
turn
you
chicken
gotta
meat?
remember that the food that we eat is already ADA approved.
Right.
Some of their food is not approved, they just eat it.
Well,
Some of their
there-
food is not even, like, you know, the soil is not clean, so they have to eat from the soil.
But that's been going on
That's
for
like what-
centuries.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
Well, look
it's-
at Oprah Winfrey when she did when she sued for the cows with the, what was that?
Mad cow disease?
Mad cow disease.
But that's something different. That is something very
Well,
different.
it landed in the United
And
States.
she got sued.
Right.
So, all right, well, with mental illness, there are so many myths about how it starts or where it comes from. Like right now, a big myth about where autism comes from
Correct.
is from vaccines.
Right.
That's why you have so many people who are anti-vaxxers because they feel
Oh,
like they
that's
vaccinate
right,
their
right.
child
Correct.
and then the metals in the vaccine
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
something wrong from the brain. But there is no real way to tell where these mental illnesses came from. Like elephantitis coming from ducks, that's just like how they say AIDS came
But
from
she
monkeys
looked-
in
yeah,
Africa.
when
That's
when
right.
when I heard it,
That's right.
when I heard it,
Or-
I listened to her,
Right.
but I didn't believe it because, you know, it's just so many things that go on in our bodies if we're not careful.
And people been eating the meats for years and
Yeah.
they've been
That's right,
fine.
centuries.
Correct.
So COVID came from bats.
Right. Like that's what they're saying, you know?
Yes, they claim.
She turned it off. Anyway, so let's just continue. The phone is ringing, so we're gonna just finish it off.
You have a call?
Another thing, ADHD. This is something that's going on in our community also, as far as black children that are acting up in school. So what they want to do is they want to diagnose them that's having ADHD, and then they want to turn around and put them on meds.
Medications, right.
Okay, that's just another way of bringing our black community to a halt,
Right.
so we won't be so fast in our
development.
to it, you know.
And ADHD, it's boredom. They keep diagnosing kids with ADHD
Yes,
in the
right.
classroom. They're bored. You have a
Right.
classroom with
Yes.
42 kids,
Right.
one
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
Nobody's getting the attention they need. So now, of course,
That's right.
this kid that's bored, I'm finished my work. I'm smarter than some of my other classmates.
Right.
I'm finished. Now I'm gonna act out
Right.
because I ain't got nothing
And
else to do.
that's the
That's
part
right.
that they do. I know when I raised my two nephews, and one of my nephews, he had, they diagnosed him with ADHD because he was already finished with what he was doing and wanted to act out, like you said. And, you know, he would run out of the classrooms and stuff like that, but then when it came down to his homework,
He's
it was
good.
there. So then I had to make a decision, you know. So my decision was just to kind of like monitor him, you know, walk into the school, monitor his behavior in school, like, you know, pull him out of the classroom and go, you know, bring him to the shop, because I worked as a salon, in the salon, I have my own salon. So it was like, you know, taking the time to learn his behavior, because sometimes we don't take the time, we just actually just
We
act,
just
you know,
move on it
we move on a professional opinion.
Right.
as opposed
You know,
to what we know as a family.
Exactly right.
And the
Exactly
that's
first,
what I
the
did
first
with
word
my
in
son.
ADHD is attention.
Right.
Are they getting the attention
right.
that they need?
Like I have a cousin, and he's always saying, now he has HAD, but he says all the time when it's school time or whatever, they give him the same work over and over again, and they're not whatchamacallit his brain or his mind. So he starts acting out and doing all types of stuff because he's
but
mad
that's because
and he wants other
he's not
work.
mad, he's just bored.
Yeah,
Bored, and that's what they said with my son.
Kids get bored.
They had given wanted me to
Yeah.
give my son medication. I
Right.
did for a while, but what it did was make him real
Sluggish,
slow,
yeah,
and I stopped
yes.
giving to him.
And now
When
they
I
have
went
it
back to
alters
the
the brain.
appointment the following month, the doctor said he's doing very well, and I said, well, I stopped him with the medication.
But you gave him more attention and you focused
and
more
the
on what he
teachers,
needed.
Yeah, but another thing
person, the
too-
advocate that I was working with told the school that let him bang the erasers, let him go around past
Yeah.
and you gotta give him more things
Right.
to do.
But you gotta also remember that the school is
Doesn't
set up
have
with
that.
the government is set up with, you know, with all this medication.
Right.
The
The
pharmaceutical,
FDA,
right, the pharmaceutical makes so much money
Yes, they
on
do.
just, you know, like giving us meds,
Right.
you know, and whether it hurts you or it helps
helps
you,
you,
it doesn't
right.
matter to them, because it's just about money to me.
Right.
So I think that, you know, like we as parents, again, we need to understand what we are doing with our kids. We need to understand what we are allowing these people to do to our kids.
Not even just as parents, as a community.
That's
Because
right.
not everybody's raised. Like you raised your nephews,
Right.
and if you weren't there to advocate for them,
Right.
Right.
somebody else in the community would be like, no, he needs the medication.
Right.
Right.
You
exactly
see,
right.
just like you
Yeah.
advocate for your grandson
Right.
and you advocate for your cousin, it
Right.
takes a community
yeah.
to come together. If you know somebody in your neighborhood who has
Right.
special needs,
Right.
But-
you see them in the store, help them
Yeah, but
out.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
you really can't even address that anymore like we used to. As a community, we had a village. But the village is gone, so the community is scattered.
Is it
And what
going on?
happens, yes, it's
Are
gone.
we not still a village?
No.
Are the people, see,
It
what we
depends
teach
on
in
how
our
you
school,
live and where you're living at.
No.
My
what we teach
community,
in our
we're like a
school
When I
is your
tell you-
village
when I
is
tell
the
you-
neighborhood you live in.
That's
The people in
right.
the corner store, the people in the grocery
So
store,
you
the
tell me
people
this.
everywhere,
You
that's
tell
your
me
village.
this. So you tell me that if you had a child, right, and me as an adult looking at your child doing something wrong, that I can chastise your child without.
I wouldn't say
nothing?
chastise my child, but come to me and say something to me.
Well, and we
Rather
had,
than
when we had
post
the
it on
village,
social
when we
media.
had the
Or
village,
you could tell them
you
you gotta
chastise
stop
that
doing what
child,
you're doing
and
right there,
then
and
you
then
take
go
him
tell
to the
the
parent.
See, but that's, you
And I don't mean
never,
chastising him as popping him or beating him, but
No,
just scolding him to the point where he understands, I've seen you, and a lot of other people.
but
see
see, a lot of people don't know, like, as we say, mental illness is more prevalent now, right? So you don't know if that child has a mental illness or is
Right.
going through something.
Right.
So you bring it to the parent, but
Right.
without being hostile,
Right.
without being
I'm
rude,
not saying
without
hostile,
saying, girl, you need to
chastising.
beat your child.
Yeah.
No, just go, hey, I see your daughter over there having a hard time.
Yeah.
Say something like that, because maybe the parent might not notice. She might be
Do you think that
frustrated.
the parent might feel, okay, well, oh no, you think I'm neglecting my child?
No,
Because
if you
it comes
come
to
to her
a
with the
point where,
right.
like before, we used
You gotta
to
go
gather
to the right
up, and we used to
attitude, but
really have a
some
village.
people
Even
really
we used to have
nasty.
parties and
Yeah.
Tompkins Park. We used to
Right.
throw stuff. We don't do that anymore.
Right,
We used
you
to
don't
even
have
have
the
hair shows.
relationship
We don't
like
have
you
no
used to.
relation.
Right.
Exactly. We don't have these things anymore.
Right.
We used to have hair shows every maybe 6 to 8 months. We don't have hair shows anymore. We just don't do it. They used to have park parties and
Well, it doesn't mean the
Being a
village isn't there. It just means that the village
Well,
is different.
Yeah,
Yeah, but some
change.
people,
And now
It's
we-
gonna
some
change.
people
The
you
village
can't
will
talk
change.
even
to.
with that, like
Some
you go
people
down,
you can't talk
right?
to.
Even
You can't
even
go
to the
there.
point you go down into the country. Before you used to go to the country, and your whoever was there, they would have a nice little meal for you set up, and you get up, you be like, you have grits and the whole stuff on the table.
Look, food costs
Now they be like, yeah, but they want you to take them to Ryan's to eat breakfast.
Oh, you went to lunch?
So it's like you don't have that
changed.
anymore.
And it's going to
has
change
changed.
more so because
Exactly.
we're being with the COVID, the social distancing.
Yes.
Imagine this generation being our age. It's going to
Correct.
be totally
It's gonna be
different.
totally
It's going to be different, but
Yeah.
as I said, the village is still there. It still exists. It's just different. It's different, and you know everybody's so scared to expose their kids to
Right.
the village.
Correct. Correct.
Like as I teach in my classroom, our village is the people that are around us. So when I take my classroom outside of the school, the people in the corner stores know them well. They know them
sis,
by name.
I live in South Carolina, but I want to come stay with you. Could I come stay at your house?
Well, baby, look, it's a boarding house right up the block.
You understand
That's
what
a part of the village. I know
No, you say the village, so I'm supposed to be.
That ain't a village, honey. That's a freehold.
Okay, could you tell them?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, what did we do?
Yeah, you
We
read
pulled
about
people,
that, yeah.
we pulled people
Right.
and
Yeah.
pulled them in and kept them.
If I don't know
And
you
then-
that well, you ain't staying in my house.
I said,
you
hey,
a freehold.
sis. I said, sis. I didn't say, hey, stranger.
Well, if you my
Right.
sister, you can come
I didn't say
stay.
your sister. I
Right,
said,
that's
hey,
well, even if
Well, I
like,
have friends, I have helped strangers and brought them to my house. I'm not gonna even fib
yeah.
and help them.
And that's
on their
that's
feet
what you say a village is.
right.
and
I'm not
help
helping
them.
nobody stranger. I will give
I
you
have.
money. I will direct you to where you're supposed to go.
now you're contradicting yourself because
Your
you just
village
said
became
I have.
Village means people I know.
no. It does
Strangers are not in my
no,
village.
A village. See now you
No.
you're
I'm
messing it
not
up.
inviting a stranger into my home.
But then you're contradicting
have.
yourself.
And help plenty of strangers.
You
and they
just think
haven't hurt
about,
me or
and
did
this is what I'm
anything
talking
to
about when I said
Cool, I'm a
chastise.
single
That's
young
like
black
me
woman. I'm not
chastising.
inviting
That's just
strangers
like me
to my
coming
house.
to you and chastising somebody that you and you don't even know me, and I'm saying, oh, you know your kid did such and such and such. You're gonna look at me like, okay, and then when you
It's
walk
about
away,
your
when you
approach.
walk away, you're not gonna do anything. In the village, trust me, we had where.
Yeah, they sure did.
Do you understand what a
That's
village
not a
meant?
village.
Yeah.
Excuse me. If you come to me and approach me in an approachable manner about my child, I'm gonna react different. But if you come to me and go, sis,
And
let me
I-
tell you,
you know
your
what?
daughter did
And I
this,
think-
this, that, and the third,
You
you
got
get a
some
very
people-
different
you got
response.
some
You're a
people-
younger
Different
generation. So
generation.
you don't
Different
even know
generation.
what. Well, we had
different
a
generation.
how would I say what we had, Carol? We had like a support.
Right.
Even though we got knocked upside our head and we
Right.
got beat, but we had a support mechanism. So if we did anything, we was able to go
It was more
and
open.
deal with our aunts and
Yeah, but
Right.
That's the people you know, though. So
Even-
y'all, she's
Even
saying strangers.
Yeah, but you got
saying
some
off.
people. You got some people. If you go to them and tell them about their kid or whatever, even you're nice, they gonna tell you to get that. You know what
Exactly
out
right.
of here.
Yeah,
Or
back in
fight
the
you
day-
But
right
back
then
in the
and there.
days,
12
back in-
o'clock,
That's
hey,
happened.
Mrs. Jones could go ahead and tell
Exactly
me
right.
something
That-
and then
right.
go and tell
That's
my
the
mother.
village. Right.
And I can
That's
go
right.
to somebody's
That's what we don't
house
have anymore.
Back in
and
the
they
days,
know where they
before
kept
people could
the
beat
Hawaiian
your butt.
punch and vanilla, them what round cameo looking cookies. Yeah.
So we're gonna take a break, but when we come back, we're gonna come back and we're gonna have a different panel. We're gonna have two of the same panels, and then we're gonna have Robin Watson and Atia Murray after these messages.
The Africa Vision Card, a reloadable debit card that controls up to 5 different currencies in one account. Our belief in the promise of a new Africa inspired our innovation to launch Africa's first free smart card. Our customers can now make 24 hours global cash withdrawals and transact businesses with ease. With pride in our 24 hours live customer service, headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, corporate branch in Lagos, Nigeria, and unique reward programs, we are well positioned to pioneer Africa to the world of artificial intelligence and walk you through to the new Africa. Africa Vision's Card, the king of cards.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Robin's house, and we're going to give y'all a little bit of tea with the latest TV shows that we're sure everyone's tuning into. So, ladies, what we gonna start off talking about? Power.
Yes.
Goes to
Sexy behind Woody Allen.
Okay. And Tyreek tearing it up. That boy ain't
Tyreek been
too smart.
Tyreek been bad. He's disgusting. He about to go to jail.
Hopefully.
I don't think he's gonna go to jail. I don't think he's
got
gonna
him.
go to
You
jail.
gonna go to
You
jail?
know?
I was disappointed when, even though he got hot, I mean, the lady
Drunk that
drugged
day?
him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
'cause
should
the
have known
accident
not to
was
drink
different.
anything.
He
He's in
should've-
business. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a
Exactly.
big business.
Well, some business get sick and
No. You are selling drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
You out here hustling.
Okay.
And to the
Don't
college
use nobody.
kids.
You out here, you got an app to sell your drugs.
Yes.
I need you to be a little bit more responsible
Yes.
with your
Right.
drug use.
Yes.
I'm thinking about me. Okay, I'm thinking about a regular
You
business
shouldn't be
meeting.
using that
That's why I
all.
said I was very
He's
surprised.
selling drugs.
You know?
No,
That's crazy.
and Mary J. Blige, boy, I tell you, she said the
She was
best.
shutting it down. She
What? Did you hear what she said to her daughter when she looked her daughter in the face and was like, "Look, if you think the most powerful thing you got on your body is your pussy, you already fucked up." I was like,
Yes,
say it again, say it.
Sure.
yes, mama laying it down.
You know what Mary J. Blige told her son to give Tyreek the gun when she asked Tyreek,
She wanted to make Tyreek feel powerful in that moment.
Yeah.
That's why she
Did
did
you
it.
want to make
She
him
not
feel powerful
stupid.
or tie him to what?
Nah, she wanted to make him feel powerful. That's why
Like
she
told
asked
us
the son that's a
she
real
can control
gangster.
him. She was like, you give them what they want, and then you know how to take it away.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
so
why
good.
she
I
went
like
to the
that
son who was a
line.
gangster and was like, give him your gun.
Exactly.
Made Tyreek feel like,
And then the bad thing is, Pops, he in jail, but he's still running things. He's the Don, because he be sending Tyreek's mother pictures like,
Right.
oh, your son lived another day today, so we
Yep.
not gonna put him underground. He did good in the drug business.
Yep.
You know,
Right,
so
right.
they got it wrapped up.
But
Yeah,
can-
it's a wrap.
Can we take a special moment and just say how Method Man has developed as a man? Oh my gosh, he is so he looks,
METHOD,
Right.
he looks like a grown man now.
Oh,
He looks like he got well-behaved
Yeah,
children
yes.
and a well-manicured
Right.
lawn at home.
Yes.
It's just
He
sexy.
got another physique.
Ooh.
Exactly. He got it going on.
Look at you out here looking like your kids listen when you go, hey.
Exactly.
But there's so much more good TV on, right, Robin?
Yeah.
Please tell me, ladies, because you know what? I'm actually happy for this show because I'm a Pisces and I can stay in my own world for years and years and years. So y'all are forcing me to be amongst
And
y'all.
your black shoes.
I know.
So that's a good thing
You're
about
damn
it.
right.
You feel
And you
elite.
know what? I'm gonna have to watch this a little bit more, get into it, so I can give y'all my tea perspective.
Yeah, just
on
wait up
everything
to the
going
weekend
on.
and binge watch. you
Right
know,
now,
something like that.
right now, I'm in school, so y'all gotta tell me what's going on.
Okay.
Y'all gotta binge it. It
Binge
comes
it,
back,
right?
when does it come back? December?
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah,
because
December,
they're like in
yeah,
a
right?
mid-season.
Now, what's that all
Yeah.
about this mid-season
Yeah.
Because
hiatus?
they make you wait for
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They like
Yes,
drug
they do.
dealers, they give out Teslas
But
and
you know
they
what?
come back.
Isn't that 50 cent shit? That's
Yeah,
50,
that's
right?
50 shit.
You know, you got drugs to give him a little bit and have
He
him
know.
get
That's
back.
that's how he learned his hustle. So now he's doing it with the shows.
He's a
He out here
part of
giving
it.
Teslas like he's
Yeah.
still selling on the block.
Right,
Come on,
right.
50. Let me get the full Monty.
Tyler, too, you know, with his little haves and have-nots.
I'm so happy for
him.
I'm so
Oh.
Veronica, her little hoe herself. You know, she done hired a new assistant whose husband is fine.
Yes,
Veronica's
honey.
determined she gonna get him. You know, he said he loves his wife. She was like, for now. You
Oh.
know? She said, I'm gonna have you smoking and drinking and doing it all. I'm like, you're just fine self.
Look, you know these TV Christians. These TV Christians push the limits to Christianity. They
What is
push-
Christianity?
TV Christianity is I'm a Christian
Made up
today.
made up of real people who
Yeah, for
sometimes
today,
feel
exactly.
holy and sometimes
You
don't.
know, that brings me. Remember the other show we were talking about?
right?
Greenleaf?
Greenleaf.
Ooh.
That's
But that's
it.
life.
Yeah.
There's no Christian life.
Technically,
See, I
that's
grew
really
up
part of
in a
life.
black church. I really wanted to watch Greenleaf with hopes that they was
Why?
going to show the black church
First
in
of
a
all,
positive
Tyler
light.
Perry, you know.
First episode, they was like, so when he raped his niece, what?
Really?
What?
Exactly.
No.
She said no. I just want to hear the hymns.
That's real life.
You know why I tuned into the show?
Why?
Because they had a great soundtrack.
Yeah, that's
They had that song, you know, oh, you know, like I was hyped, like, all right, you know what, let's praise God on
But
this
see, I think that's
television.
why I don't watch the other shows because I feel like I'm in a place where I gotta super protect my spirit.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
But at the end of the day, I'm in this world.
It's entertainment.
And it's
you know?
entertainment, and I need to not take myself so seriously.
I try to protect my spirit, but reality TV is entertaining as hell.
Yes, ma'am. It is. This
My
day
kids
and
watch
age
it,
and COVID,
So
please.
you can cover this
What?
show.
I ain't got nothing to do at home. I ain't got
Right, you
nothing
gotta have
to do.
something.
I'm in here like, what's next?
Okay.
You know what show? Oh, me and Robert, we talk about this all the time. The show that we love.
What's that?
He that.
Oh my God.
Cause baby, ain't no crying at the bank.
That's right.
I
We're on
think they're gonna
Clifford.
come back and get her.
And
That's what it
Mercedes.
is.
And
I think they're gonna
Order
come
Night.
back and get their money
I think
back.
so, too.
Oh, they coming back to get Paul Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she
She's dead.
brought up the pink. They don't
What's her
appreciate
real name?
that.
Haley?
Yeah, Haley.
Yeah.
Haley dead.
Oh yeah.
Haley look like
I
she's
think she's gonna bounce. She gonna bounce.
Yeah, she gonna leave
You know,
right,
yeah, she's
right
too
before,
smart.
right.
You know.
Haley dumb. She
wasn't that
So
dumb.
give me-
She wasn't
smart and dumb at
Give
the
me the
same time.
rundown of P Valley. What am I missing?
got a bunch of strippers. They be working on poles.
Who's that
They be
guy?
working
that
on
does-
poles.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mercedes?
I saw
She be
that.
making
No,
them
her
heels
and
clap.
Miss Emma, Crooked you know.
That's how they say her name. They be like, oh, Miss.
She's Miss
M.I.
Mississippi.
I know.
Crooked letter, crooked letter I. And then that's how you gotta say her name with the passion.
Who's that?
And Little
That's
Murder.
good. You got a little murder.
Who is that? Who's the guy?
But they making money.
Oh, you talking about my uncle?
Right.
She talking about my uncle.
Clifford.
My uncle Clifford.
Clifford.
The one
Bad
right?
He be
bad.
out
He a
there.
Right.
He done made all the rules at
Yeah.
the fake
And
sense.
handsome man,
Yes,
you know.
he is. Yes,
He been
yes.
tearing it up.
Yes.
He is a handsome
Yeah.
man getting his back blown out by Lil Murder.
Okay.
Exactly.
Lil Marcus.
Yeah, Little
I gotta
Marcus.
say his name with the extra S's because I didn't know he was like that when I first started the show.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, right. I didn't think he did
Uncle
either.
Clifford put it
I
on
think,
him,
yeah,
but,
I think
you know, he
so.
was just
Yeah.
a little
Nah,
bit too much.
Lil Marcus.
He was on a damn list.
Lil Marcus. He came in that strip club on a different one. Remember, he came in.
That's
He
true.
came in all happy to see the strippers. Then saw Uncle Clifford and was like, like, girl, that mean you been like that. That mean, ooh.
No.
That mean them extra S's been on your name.
Right. Yes. All the time. All the time. Yes.
I'm just saying. This black television right now is beautiful and entertaining. I just got into a new show too.
What's that? Oh, Lovecraft, right?
Country.
Yeah, that's
oh,
so.
my
Oh,
God.
You guys gotta get the heart
I
of
got some.
So
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
is.
yeah,
It's
it's like,
crazy.
y'all heard of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
So it's like if
something like
Stranger
that.
Things took place during civil rights.
Yeah. And then they go
beautiful.
flashback.
That's prophetic. I like that.
They're doing
Yeah, you
all-
probably would like it.
You
That's
would
crazy.
love it.
saw it and
This
I
is
was like,
Carol, you
Watch
watch
the first episode.
I'm so
That
scared.
was crazy.
They have so many real black history facts, like they talk about the march with Malcolm
Yeah.
and Martin.
Yeah,
they talk about real
Oh, right,
black
yes,
history
yes, I
facts.
can see.
They talk about
Yeah,
real
because they
things
flash
that are
back to
going
like
on.
the 60s,
Right.
you know, black
Yeah,
people had to sit in the back of the bus.
Which is good because they're educating people who
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, they got you questioning like, well, do white people have witchcraft? I'm out here like,
So that's very
Why you
good.
say that? What does that mean?
girl, you gotta watch the show.
Yeah.
You gonna watch the show, you gonna look at your white neighbors a little differently after that. You gonna be like this.
Yeah.
I heard some humming coming from your house last night.
You gonna be
Yeah,
mad.
I know one of my neighbors do Wicca, so.
Really?
You know, you
The
be
good
looking at.
Wicca or the bad Wicca?
Yeah.
Is there a
No,
good
Wicca? Wicca, like a witch Wicca.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there a good Wicca?
Isn't there good witch and bad
She says she's a good witch, but
Yeah.
she's evil as hell.
Oh, so no, she.
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That's it. That's it.
Mika.
I am a first
Ladies, put your hand down.
As I said, she's
Ladies,
evil.
we're gonna have to say something for next week
Yeah,
and give it
she
to them
evil.
a little
I'ma
bit
have
more
my tea.
next week.
Yes.
So on that note, we're gonna have our Miss Mika J. Woods ended up for us with her poetry as usual.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. So today, you know, we talked about mental health awareness, and being on the autism spectrum. So this is a special piece that I wrote for it. And it's called Voices of the Unheard. Because I was, unfortunately, like everyone else, he was non-ambulatory and he was nonverbal, and for a long time I didn't think that he was trying to communicate with me.
Oh my goodness.
Until one day I actually took the time to listen with my heart instead of with my ears, and I finally understood that he was talking to me. So this is Voices of the Unheard. I may not be able to say good morning, but I love to see you come in with a smile. I may not be able to say I miss you, but my behavior will change if you were gone for a while. I may not be able to say I love you, but I hope your care for me never ends. I may not be able to say I need you, but you are my closest friend. When you see me for me and not for my illness, it gives my life a new sense of willingness. My life may not be like yours, but it's still filled with wonders and surprises. And just like you, I have my turnoffs and my vices. I'll show you what I like if you only pay attention. After all, I am a human being, and my differences you should not mention. One day I may fall in love, go to college, or even earn a pension. But the only way that can happen is with your love and affection. I am an individual with a mind, thoughts, and feelings. And even without speaking, my grunts and twitches have meanings. So listen to me, although my voice is unheard. Listen with your heart and you will hear me without words.
Oh my God.
Wow. Thank you. That was Miss Myxxxx Woods, our poetess, here at Robin's house. And now, back to the mix.
Okay, this is the end of our show. Unfortunately, we have one of our members that couldn't make it, Javon.
We love you.
Egypt. Of course, we all love Egypt. She's one of
Hi, Egypt.
Hi, Egypt.
But anyway, this is the mix. THEMYXXXXLI4.com. You can reach us at 1844 The Mix. THEMYXX. And this is the mix, and we all love you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye. See you next week.
I didn't see myself.